Hello everyone, you are watching a segment of the Countdown program from February 14, 2024. Today is Wednesday. Watch all of our videos on Patreon. And thanks to everyone who is becoming our patrons right now. More about the themes of the postscript a little later, but now about the most important thing. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported that the large landing ship Caesar Kunov of the Russian Navy was sunk near Alupka. The mission to destroy the ship was carried out by Special Forces of Group 13 of the Main Intelligence Directorate. The enemy ship was attacked by Magura V-5 maritime attack drones off the coast of the temporarily occupied Crimea near the city of Alupka. As a result, Caesar Kunov received critical holes on the port side and began to sink. An interesting fact, Major Caesar Kunov, after whom the ship was named, also died on February 14 on the Black Sea coast. True, in 1943. So do you believe in the karmic power of fate after this? A video of the fire and explosion on the landing ship was published by the Crimean Wind Telegram channel, after which the number of spectators at Kobzon's concert, as expected, increased. Local residents reported machine gun fire preceding the explosion. Probably, the Kobzon did not want to receive a season ticket, but the will of the Ukrainian armed forces turned out to be stronger. The racist channel, Two Majors, claims that the crew remained alive. But time after time, the Black Sea Fleet turns out to be incompetent and unable to repel attacks. Notes another Z channel, Rebar. According to him, the ship was protected from sea drones with sandbags. Shoigu's ministry also does not confirm the losses, but reports drones shot down over the Black Sea. Meanwhile, Ukrainian intelligence claims that the Russian search and rescue operation was unsuccessful. There could be up to 87 crew members on board. The destroyed ship was previously used by the Russians during the wars against Georgia, Syria and Ukraine. And the day before it became known that the Kremlin had been persistently looking for opportunities to start negotiations on Ukraine for several months in a row. Sir Trump's Carlson in Dubai was not lying when he purred about Putin's readiness to make a serious compromise. According to Reuters, Putin sent signals to Washington in 2023 both publicly and in private messages through intermediaries, including Moscow's Arab partners in the Middle East. He was ready to freeze the conflict in its current positions, but did not want to give up the already occupied territories of Ukraine, controlled by the Russian military at that time. But, according to the source, contacts with the Americans led to nothing. Moreover, Putin arrogantly assumed that the US administration would put pressure on Zelensky on the issue of starting negotiations. The agency's second source said that the Americans refused to discuss a possible truce without the participation of Ukraine, and therefore the contacts led to nothing. A third source familiar with the discussions said, it fell through with the Americans. He noted that the United States refused to put pressure on Ukraine. All these behind-the-scenes actions took place at the end of the 23rd, beginning of the 24th year. Now, after the failure, the wounded dictator can go to the principal. If they didn't want it in a good way, it will be done in a bad way. However, the US has ruled out inviting Ukraine to NATO this year. US Ambassador to the alliance Julianne Smith said, "I do not expect the alliance to issue an invitation at this stage. We have worked very hard since last year's summit to take a number of steps to continue to help our friends in Ukraine carry out the necessary reforms within their own country to move closer to Euro-Atlantic integration." End quote. So the path to NATO continues, and it lies not only through victory in the war, but also through reforms that will make Ukraine a civilized state that has broken out of the post-Soviet coordinate system. Become our patrons right now and look further in this program. Director General of the Estonian Foreign Intelligence Department Kaupo Rosin warns that Russia will be preparing for war with NATO in the next decade and may approximately double the size of its army near the borders with the Baltic countries and Finland. And Estonian border guards began distributing leaflets to Russians warning them about the possible closure of the Russian-Estonian border in the near future. After the extraordinary meeting, Deputy Secretary of Putin's Security Counsel Mikhail Popov put forward a wild scare about the risk of an accidental nuclear war due to health problems of Biden and Pentagon head Lloyd Austin. Watch in the program, Postscript. The House of Representatives has impeached Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. The decision is in some ways historic. A cabinet secretary has not been impeached by the U.S. Congress since 1876. That is, instead of war, there are procedures in Congress, and no bloodshed in Texas. But Russian propagandists will not tell about this. The confrontation between Trump and Nikki Haley is becoming increasingly bitter, although Trump's chances appear to be favored. And that is all. Subscribe to Patreon and watch our programs in full. There's a lot of information and analytics that you won't get anywhere else. Hugs to everyone. See you tomorrow. Glory to Ukraine.